Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about Bitcoin, and I'm very excited today to share with you a mainstream media documentary about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Now, if you're a Bitcoin enthusiast, as I am, you get quite excited when there's a show on like the mainstream media broadcast to millions of people across the country about the topic which you're really interested in. And this documentary was broadcast on the 9th of August 2022. And I watched it yesterday and I thought I've got to make a video about this. I've got so many thoughts and so many things I want to talk about. So I do recommend the documentary. It's presented by Adair Depetan, who's a well-known TV presenter in the UK. I've watched him since I was a kid. He used to present kids' TV shows. He's a Paralympian medalist. He's done all sorts of things. He presents lots of shows. He's well-known here. And today he was talking about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. He does not know anything about crypto. And I want to just go through the documentary. I've taken out a few highlights and I want to share with you my kind of thoughts on it. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit play and we'll watch it together. I'll pause and give you commentary along the way.
Cryptocurrency is being talked about as the future of finance.
Is it though? I've already stopped it like 3 seconds in. Is it being talked about as the future of finance or is it the future of money? I'll leave that thought with you.
A new digital currency which promises untold riches for anyone brave enough to take the leap.
Did he just say a new digital currency which promises untold riches? Now, I don't know about you, but I've never been made that promise by anyone regarding Bitcoin. Are there people who are out there trying to scam you which will promise you things which aren't going to happen? Probably. But I don't really like that introduction. We're only 10 seconds in, and he's already said that, cryptocurrencies promise you untold riches. That's not quite true. Crypto scams might, but Bitcoin certainly won't.
But is it too good to be true?
When it's flown sky high, the fall is imminent.
Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. I mean, nothing goes up in a straight line, right? But we're still waiting for the fall for Bitcoin, right? We're still waiting for it to crash to zero. People have been saying it's going to crash to zero for years and years. Still hasn't. Still waiting.
I think I'm pretty savvy when it comes to money, but when it comes to cryptocurrency, I have no idea. To find out, I'm going on a crash course, discovering how cryptocurrency works.
This is a crypto mine.
Back in the day, it was a shovel,
Exactly.
pan,
Like
and
modern day mining.
And if there really is money to be made,
that 1,000 turned to 185,000.
So this kind of goes back to the theme. The whole documentary, unfortunately, from my perspective, was themed around making money and getting rich and, price. How much money have you made? It's much more than that. Bitcoin has so much more potential than just to make people rich in fiat money. It's a whole different kind of thing. And I'm happy to give Ade some feedback for his next documentary about Bitcoin only.
wow, I'm investing my own cash into this volatile market without knowing there's about to be a massive crash. Everything's down. Why not? Thousands. So is cryptocurrency really the future or a bubble ready to burst?
People who buy Lamborghinis with crypto, they put it on Instagram. And people who lose their life savings don't.
So again, that's right in the intro. People who lose their life savings. It's literally impossible to have lost your life savings on Bitcoin unless you were trading with leverage and you're a trader. But that's not good advice. Anyone who advises you to trade is giving you very, very poor advice. So, more on this later, but nobody's lost their life savings on Bitcoin. If you buy a little bit of Bitcoin each month until the day that Bitcoin goes to zero, which is not impossible, but I'd say is very unlikely, you can't lose your life savings. So misleading, I would say.
Well done. Well done.
Okay, nice little intro. You're pulled in. You want to find out about Adi's journey. Did he get on with it? Did he not? Let's find out.
To get my cryptocurrency adventure started, I'm jumping in at the deep end. Look at this. At an event with 2,000 crypto fans from around the world.
Okay, so he starts his journey at a hotel in London at a crypto, what did he call it? A conference or something. And right away, look at that. This is very sad because look, Coin Bureau Conference partnered with Lunar Crush. Lunar Crush is a shitcoin that went to zero a few months ago. And when this was made, maybe there were people that were trying to fund it and pump it and then dump it. And that's exactly what they would have done. So I did a bit of digging into Lunar Crush. I'd never heard of it before because myself, I just focus on Bitcoin. But I discovered that it has indeed gone to zero. Okay, so immediately I'm kind of thinking, why is Channel 4 making a documentary to the mainstream about these shitcoins? Because that's what's happening. It's literally it's putting the brand of shitcoins all over the interwebs. Now I've got an image here, social intelligence blah, 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 powered by Luna. So I did a bit of digging on this LUNR token and I discovered that it's gone to zero. Its value is now like a fraction of a cent or something, or it's like 10 cents maybe, down from $18. It's gone to zero. It's down 99.9%. And I can tell you, it's never coming back. So I'm thinking, why has Addy gone to this conference which is funded by scamming shitcoins? Not a good start. Not a good start.
This place is absolutely nuts.
Of course it's nuts, because it's full of people who are trying to scam you out of your life savings, like that guy previously was alluding to. Can't happen with Bitcoin, at least historically.
Look at all these people. Whether Bitcoin believers or those just looking to get rich, these people are obsessed with crypto.
They're also obsessed with taking your money from you, because that's what people in the crypto industry kind of tend to do.
Okay, Bitcoin, Ethereum are like the mummy and daddy. They're like the OGs. I think a really good one is Polkadot.
So you've got a woman here, don't know her, but she's just talked about Bitcoin, Ethereum and Polkadot all in the same sentence, as if they're just all the same things. Kind of like you would talk about apples and manchineel in the same sentence, because they're both fruits, right? It's not like one's going to kill you. Or like how you talk about water and bleach. Well, they're both liquids, right? They're both liquids. They must be kind of similar, right? Well, no, like one's going to save your life, one's going to kill you. It's like comparing GameStop to Berkshire Hathaway, just because they're both stocks, they're both companies. It's like they're very, very different. Bitcoin, Ethereum and Polkadot and other cryptocurrencies are all very, very, very fundamentally different. And I think that's the thing, that to be fair to Ade, like, he's not going to know that at this stage, but hopefully in time it will become clearer and clearer that they're very, very, very different.
Yeah.
This clip here, we've got this guy and he's standing in front of all these brands that have just pumped money into here to kind of pull people into all these crypto altcoins or shitcoins. And what's interesting here is you can actually see on the screen, you can see Celsius. So Celsius is well known. It was a Ponzi scheme. Celsius was a Ponzi scheme. They got people in, promised you yields of 20% return on your tokens, and that whole company collapsed. Everyone lost their deposits, as far as certainly as of now. It's all gone to zero. I can see Lunar Crush here again. That's gone to zero. I mean, I think I dug into a couple of other these coins and they've pretty much all gone to zero. But the point here is that there's crypto and there's Bitcoin, two very, very different things. And Ade here has found himself at a crypto conference, which is run by a YouTuber who we're going to meet in a minute.
Bitcoin is king. Ethereum is doing very well.
This guy here, actually, Spartan Protocol, I looked that one up. Guess what? It's gone to zero. And he's wearing a Spartan Protocol hoodie and hat. Like, this is not Bitcoin. This is crypto. Very, very different.
Well, BNB is doing very well.
There's FOMO coin, which is a big thing about like people buying in because they have fear of missing out.
I mean, seriously?
How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 13.
13! What do you want to get out of it?
Money, really.
So again, it's focusing on like the money, the making money. It's as if crypto is all about making money. Crypto is all about taking one person's money from another person, I would argue. Whereas Bitcoin, totally different thing in itself, is literally building an entire new monetary network for the whole global population to ultimately benefit from. Quite different things, I think you'd agree.
This event is being run by
Coin Bureau Conference, partnered with Lunar Crush, a shitcoin that went to zero.
Coin Bureau, a YouTube channel that provides crypto advice to over 2 million subscribers worldwide.
Yeah, so I hadn't come across this guy before. He's called Guy Turner. He runs this YouTube channel, Coin Bureau. I'm sure some people watching this video have seen his channel as well. I don't know anything about the guy, but I will say this. I will say that as a YouTuber, I personally get offered lots of money to promote shitcoins. I had an email this morning promoting a crypto project. Oh, we'll give you X amount of money. And it's a lot of money. It's thousands of pounds for a video or even just a 30-second mention. I had an email a week ago offering me $3,000 for a 30-second mention. And I don't even have that many views on my channel, unlike this guy. So imagine how much he's getting paid to promote these coins. A lot, I would imagine. So I don't know, I'm not calling him a scammer, but I'm saying be wary. People do pay YouTubers to promote shitcoins. I only talk about Bitcoin favorably on my channel. And trust me, I'm not getting paid by Bitcoin because there's no CEO of Bitcoin, right? It's decentralized. It's just a decentralized commodity, which has no marketing team, no finance department. There's no office. More on that later.
So what should I be looking for?
Well, Ali, I think the best place to start is with the two big ones, the Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Yeah, to be fair to Guy, I mean, Ali's asked him, where should I start? And he recommends Bitcoin and Ethereum.
They're the biggest, they're among the oldest, they've been proven, and they have real utility.
I'm still waiting to hear what the utility of Ethereum is. I honestly couldn't tell you. But Bitcoin, yeah, certainly has utility as being, you know, a global currency which can't be debased and can travel across borders, censorship resistant, and can put a lid on the money supply to help you protect your savings from inflation. Okay, next up we talk to Jon-Joseph Boozery. Or maybe he's a French guy, I don't know. So he's actually probably one of my favorite people on the documentary, and I'm just going to play the clip and you can see what you think.
So, how much are you in for with Bitcoin?
So I invested $1 million in Bitcoin.
I don't like the term invested when you're talking about Bitcoin, because really you don't invest in Bitcoin. You buy Bitcoin, you sell Bitcoin, but you're just storing your wealth in Bitcoin. Investing has the implications that you're expecting like a yield. You're expecting a return. Like if you buy stocks or shares in a dividend producing stock, you expect a return on that investment through the profits of the company. Buying Bitcoin is not really investing. It's more saving. It's just storing your wealth, your financial, economic energy, if you like, outside of the fiat banking system and in something which cannot be corrupted or inflated away. So it's not investing really. It's just holding, storing wealth.
In Bitcoin and Ethereum, $500K.
$1 million?
Yeah, last year.
I mean, that's a huge investment.
I mean, it sounds like it, but if I bought £1 million house, would you sound crazy?
No.
Because you understand houses.
Okay.
When you understand Bitcoin, it's the same.
Yeah, and I totally agree with Jon-Joseph here. When you understand Bitcoin, you realize actually it's not crazy. It's very logical and rational to store some of your money in Bitcoin. So yeah, he's on the ball here, and I appreciate this guest.
In 5 years' time, you'll be like, oh God, what a great idea.
So he says in 5 years' time, he'll think it was a great idea. I guess time will tell.
Bitcoin is the #1 store of value. Over the past 12 years, it's gone up 197% on average every single year. There's only 21 million Bitcoin that can ever be mined.
Now, out of the whole documentary, this was the only time that I heard that little fact, that little nugget mentioned. There are 21 million Bitcoin. There will only ever be 21 million.
How have you done with it then? Is it done all right?
Yeah, it went up to 2.5.
So you more than doubled your money?
Yeah, in a few months.
In a few months?
Again, the documentary focuses very much on making money and less about actually like Bitcoin, what can it do, how does it work, etc.
Can I make loads of money out of it then?
Well, I mean, you can in the same way as going to Vegas, right? If you want to gamble. But me, I look at Bitcoin more like philosophically, as it's going to change the world.
Yeah, so I totally share the sentiment from Jon-Joseph here about looking at Bitcoin as far more than just a way to make money. The odds are that Bitcoin will continue to increase in purchasing power and in value and in price forever. But at the same time, Ade's question was, can I get rich from it? Can I make money? Can I make loads of money from it? I mean, the short answer is you can protect your wealth. You can protect yourself from getting poor slowly. But Bitcoin is not a get rich quick scheme, but it is a don't get poor slowly scheme. And I think that's what John was alluding to there about the fact that the days of making, 10,000x gains are done. And if you're coming into Bitcoin, you shouldn't expect to get rich quickly. You should see it as more of like a long-term philosophical thing and just an alternative way to store your wealth, store your money.
Right, so I'm in. Oh yeah, here we go. Buy. Oh my days. I've clicked buy, and now I've got a vast array of cryptocurrency have come up. With thousands of options, it can be daunting.
It is daunting with thousands of options, and it's really unhelpful to the newcomer, the person who's curious about cryptocurrencies. Maybe they've heard about Bitcoin, and then they come to download the app at some sort of exchange, and then this exchange, like Coinbase, which is the one he used, offers them all these different coins. It's really unhelpful, and this would have been a great opportunity for the documentary makers to have explained the difference between Bitcoin and all the other cryptos.
Bitcoin at the moment is £25,713 and 10 pence. That's to buy 1 Bitcoin.
That would have been a good opportunity to have explained that you don't need to buy a whole Bitcoin, but you can buy a fraction of a Bitcoin. Okay, now we come to a guy called Tayyab Shafiq, who runs a small cafe, I think in West London, and he accepts Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies for his drinks and food, his food and drink. So let's see what he has to say.
I personally strongly believe it will be taken all over the entire world, so it will be the future currency.
All right, let's see how this works. Can I order something? Can I order a tea?
Yeah, you can.
It's still a little bit complicated. You know, I could have come in here, I could have given you a £5, you could have given me some change, and we're sorted. We're here, we're typing in numbers.
Well, what about if the fiver will not exist?
What about if the fiver will not exist? He's way ahead. Our friend Tayyab is way ahead. He's got a cafe in West London called Chai Ada Cafe, ChaiAda. Check it out if you're nearby. He will accept your Bitcoin or I think other cryptos as well for his food and drink.
What's your biggest fear about cryptocurrency?
My biggest fear is, if you're out on the internet nowadays saying, look, I need to make some extra money, what can I do? The internet is going to tell you one thing more than anything else, which is you need to be trading crypto.
The internet doesn't tell you to trade crypto, I don't think. Like, yeah, there's some scammy sites out there that will try and get your money by telling you trade this, trade that. But, I mean, last time I checked, I was on the internet and I'm not telling anyone to trade crypto. And the people that I go to for education and information don't tell me to trade crypto. They tell me to buy, hold, stack, and just play it safe and don't leverage. Don't play with leverage. Don't gamble, and just be responsible. So I kind of don't agree with what he said there.
There were even the financial crisis, which took the world to the economic brink.
But that doesn't mean you should start buying made-up internet money.
So just to give you some context, this guy here, his name is Gary Stevenson. He's an ex-City trader, and for whatever reason, he doesn't like Bitcoin. It's not uncommon for people in the kind of the TradFi traditional financial system, the legacy financial system, to take a disliking for Bitcoin, but he seems to really dislike it so much that he's actually appearing in the documentary just to kind of hate on it.
This is essentially a pyramid scheme, multi-level marketing scheme.
That's quite a big claim, and I'd agree that most cryptocurrencies are exactly that, pyramid schemes, multi-level marketing schemes, but Bitcoin is fundamentally different, and maybe that's something that Gary Stevenson, this ex-City trader, does not quite realize yet, and maybe with time he will.
You know, people who buy Lamborghinis with crypto, they put it on Instagram. And people who lose their life savings don't. And those people are out there.
Yeah.
It's dangerous. It's dangerous.
He feels really strongly about it. You know, show me someone who's lost their life savings dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin and buying a little bit each month. You won't, you can't, because it hasn't happened. If you trade, if you gamble, if you buy altcoins or scam coins, crypto coins, shit coins, if you buy them with leverage, you can lose a lot of money. And unfortunately, people have done that. But this documentary does not help remotely to save the British public, I think, from making that exact mistake. And that's why I'm disappointed with the documentary as a whole.
You're killing me, man.
I'm sorry,
You're killing me, dude.
I don't want to kill your dream, but for me, it's fool's gold, and it's dangerous.
Another thing which was disappointing in this documentary was that there were some factual inaccuracies, as shown here. See if you can spot the deliberate mistake.
The price of Bitcoin has fluctuated wildly as prices rocket and crash regularly. It went from £50 per coin in March 2017 to £51,000 in November 2021.
Did you spot it? Yeah, Bitcoin was not £50 in March 2017. It was closer to £1,000. It was about £900 and about $1,200 thereabouts. And so, yeah, quite a big mistake to make there, because you've implied there that Bitcoin has gone from 50 to 50,000, up 1,000x, 1,000 times in 5 or 4 years. And that just simply didn't happen. So that's quite misleading, and not many people watching that would have picked up on that unless you were in the know. In fact, I have to admit, the first time I watched it, it didn't even occur to me as an anomaly there.
The extreme volatility means that, in theory, in just a matter of hours, you could lose everything.
Absolute nonsense. This bit where he said that, in theory you could lose everything in a matter of hours, that really annoyed me, because that's just absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Like, Bitcoin has had some drawdowns of 70-80% over the course of maybe a year or 2 or 3 years, but but you've still got the same amount of Bitcoin. Like, show me, Ade, please, how you can lose everything in a matter of hours because of Bitcoin's volatility. Okay, if you're gonna have somebody who buys Bitcoin on 1,000x trade with their entire life savings, and then it drops 5% and they get liquidated and lose it all, that's fine. You can do that on anything. You can do that on any stock, any share, anything at all. So that was really, really misleading and quite disingenuous, I thought.
The potential to make a fortune has drawn in people from all backgrounds, hoping for a way to get rich quick.
Again, it's focusing on the get rich quick and not on the what is Bitcoin, what can it do, how can it help us, how can it help the world, how could it change the world, what is it, how does it work, there will only be 21 million. Like, none of those questions were discussed, which is really, really annoying.
So you've gone from like a couple of grand to a couple of $100 grand.
Correct. I'm very happy that I found out about it earlier on. Honestly, it's a blessing. It's a blessing to me.
Do you think you'd be where you are now if it wasn't for cryptocurrency?
Not at all. Not at all. All thanks to crypto, I can provide for my family. So it's just that freedom.
And yeah, that's the nice thing about Bitcoin, is that it does give you freedom, because it's money that you can control and you can spend it, you can own it truly. You don't have to rely on a bank. It's censorship resistant, it's inflation free, it can't be debased. You can't get a central bank printing more Bitcoin, creating more Bitcoin. You can convert your time into money, store it in Bitcoin, and that cannot be stolen from you because it can't be inflated away. So it will stand the test of time, and it will preserve your purchasing power and allow you to actually store your economic value or economic energy and your hard work 10, 15, 100 years into the future.
Then you have the more cryptocurrency focused ones, such as rug pulls, and they're probably the most prevalent at the moment, and they're the ones that are really hitting people hard. I mean, only 2021 there was $3 billion lost in rug pull scams alone.
So that was Charlotte Hill. She's a lawyer. She's obviously helped people who have been scammed, crypto scammed, out of their savings, and she missed a hell of an opportunity there to explain to the British public and educate the British public about the difference between Bitcoin and crypto scams. Now, she talks about rug pulls here, and what she failed to mention is that rug pulls happen in crypto, they don't happen in Bitcoin. You can't really get rug pulled in Bitcoin because it's already so many coins distributed across such a large number of entities, different people. Rug pulls happen when a large chunk of the supply is all held by one person and they sell them all and kind of pull the rug from under you. That can't happen in Bitcoin, and she failed to kind of announce that, which was a shame.
I'll be honest with you, I came into this, if I'm honest, thinking, yeah, this is a get rich quick thing. I could chuck a few £100 in it and maybe come out with a few £1,000. But the reality is, you have got to be properly informed and do your research and your due diligence before you get invested in any sort of coin.
Yeah, I can't really fault what he said there. It's just a shame that even by the end of the documentary, Ade clearly still hadn't been explained or hadn't discovered the fundamental differences between Bitcoin and all the other coins. So it's a shame that he didn't quite get to that, but I'm hopeful that in time he will.
I've always wanted to do something that was glamorous, that was cool, So cryptocurrency took my love. And then I decided to create Coda, and I built a real world business around it.
A real world office you can visit is pretty radical in the digital crypto world. Not even Bitcoin has one. So James is a proper maverick.
Now, this just really shows that Ade, bless him, has not really fully grasped the whole point of Bitcoin. Bitcoin doesn't have a CEO, doesn't have an office, doesn't have a headquarters, doesn't have a CFO. That's the whole point of Bitcoin. It's decentralized. It's controlled by no one entity. So many of the other cryptocurrencies do very much have these headquarters as this one. But that goes back to my point about comparing, like with like. You can't compare bleach with water and say, oh, they're both fluids. Yeah, they're basically the same thing, right? I can just put some bleach in my soup. No, you can't.
So, why would you want to set up your own currency? It's really ambitious.
I wanted to set up Coda to pull in people who haven't been exposed to the cryptocurrency space.
I'll let you make up your own mind about those comments, but that's like gives off a lot of red flags for me, and I would give something like that a very wide berth if it were me personally.
Luna and Terra, popular cryptocurrencies, have seen their values crash to a fraction of a penny.
The ironic thing about talking about this is that they were literally sponsoring that early crypto conference that he went to with Guy, and then later on in the documentary they talk about how they've crashed to zero. So, like, my one message to Channel 4 and the team that made the documentary, which is called Parable Works, is please next time make a documentary about Bitcoin and just focus on that rather than trying to kind of get the British public into these scams. That would be really great. Thanks in advance.
All prices have slumped, and even people without Luna or Terra have lost money.
You haven't lost money if your the pound value of your Bitcoin goes down. If you buy Bitcoin and then the price goes down, you haven't lost money. You still have the same amount of Bitcoin. It might be worth less, but we call that a paper loss. So I don't like what he said there. I've lost money. If you buy it high and sell it low, yeah, you've lost money. You've literally just lost the difference in the pounds or the dollars that you've bought and sold at. But if you buy Bitcoin and the price goes down, you haven't lost money. That's just wrong, and just like a really basic error to make for someone who's making a documentary.
So in a nutshell, you're saying these altcoins are easily manipulated.
Exactly. And, people that were involved in it, some people have lost everything, and that's why, for me, whether it's 100 quid or £1 million, it's too risky to be involved in any of them.
And when he says any of them here, what he's talking about is altcoins, and that isn't emphasized enough. That, again, would have been a great opportunity to have been able to emphasize the difference between altcoins and Bitcoin. Just missed opportunity once again.
And one of the reasons is that, with gold, there is actually a tangible asset there in the form of a chunky gold bar. Whereas with Bitcoin, it really is just about what people think the value will be in the future.
This is a lady called Iona Bain, and I've seen her before on kind of the mainstream TV shows and stuff. She's like your safe kind of vanilla go-to financial advisor, lovely woman. But I don't know what she thinks the price of gold can be attributed to. The price of gold is entirely speculative as well. People buy gold because they expect it to be worth more in 5 years' time or years' time, whatever. The same thing can be said for Bitcoin. There are lots of things which are speculative. If gold was to be kind of reduced down to its intrinsic value of being used in computers and electronics, it would probably be about $50 or $100 an ounce. It's actually trading at like $1,800 an ounce, something like that. So yeah, again, classic mistake, classic error about saying, oh, with gold you have something physical to hold on to and therefore it's legit. In a digital age, that doesn't really hold up, and there's loads of reasons why Bitcoin is better than gold, but that's for another day.
Are cryptocurrencies, the sort of things you see now, the Bitcoins and Tethers, likely to replace the sort of money we have in society at the moment? No, I don't think so. And the reason I don't think so is because money in the end depends on confidence.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with him more there. Money does depend on confidence, and the truth be told is that the people around the world are rapidly losing confidence in central banks and governments to be able to responsibly manage the money. And that is an undeniable fact now. And asking a central banker what they think about Bitcoin is kind of like asking a factory worker what they think of automation, or a black cab driver what they think of Uber, or like a chariot builder what they think of Ford cars. Of course, you know, it's literally makes them redundant. It means they no longer have a role to play in the world. So not surprised that they're not too keen on it. Let's just say that.
And I definitely know much, much more about cryptocurrency, but it's cost me.
So he says he knows a lot more about cryptocurrency. Adi, yeah, I mean, you've maybe learned more, but you've got a long way to go, mate. And I really hope that you will focus and learn a bit more about Bitcoin and how it's different from the others. He says it's cost me. It hasn't cost you anything. You bought 0.002 whatever Bitcoin, and you've still got 0.002 whatever Bitcoin. Your pound value's gone down because the price has gone down, but it hasn't cost you anything, right? You've still got that Bitcoin, and that's the kind of way to think about it. Unless you think Bitcoin is going to zero and is staying at zero, then you haven't lost it, right? Like, it's kind of basic mentality, but it's a shame that he's continuing to kind of perpetuate and propel these narratives, these false narratives about, oh, I bought 100 quid of Bitcoin, now it's 70 quid, I've lost 30 quid. No, you haven't. You still have the same amount of Bitcoin you bought. Look again in 5 years' time and you'll probably have more. You know what I mean? It'll be worth even more.
Now, initially I put in 500 quid, and then after a global crash, I'm now down to 350 pounds. And I guess, in essence, that's the problem with cryptocurrency. It's the volatility. Now, I definitely think the technology around cryptocurrency will play a part in the future of money. But for me, right now, any investment in cryptocurrency is a massive gamble.
Well, there you go. He said it there. Any investment for him right now is a massive gamble. And he says the problem with it is the volatility. Now, I would put to you, Adi, that Netflix stock, Facebook stock, Peloton stock, Shopify stock, like just the markets in general, the financial markets, they've all gone down like 70, 80, 90%, some of these companies. But does that mean that you should just never, ever buy anything ever, any financial assets ever? Of course not. So I think it was a little bit short-sighted. My overall feelings about the documentary were, it's a tough challenge to make a Bitcoin documentary for the masses. Like, let's face it, normal people haven't got a clue at all about any of this stuff, but I really, really wish they'd made more of an effort to differentiate between Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general. I look forward to Parable Works and Channel 4 making another documentary maybe in a year or two's time. Maybe with Adi again, Adi Adepitan. He can come back, make one. I'll look forward to watching it. And if you enjoyed the video, please let me know, leave a comment, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.